It's perverse. Oh, to begin a play about kings and cardinals and speaking costumes and intellectuals with embroidered mouths with me. Oh, now King Cardinal had come up through Cromwell. Well, they had plenty of material. Or an intellectual. He would have shown enough majestic meanings and closely woven liturgical stuff to dress the House of Lords. But this, is this a costume? Does it speak to you? Barely covers my own nakedness. A little bit of black cloth to reduce old Adam to the common man. And now, a proposition for you all. I need a costume. Simply got poor me. Ooh, this'll do. Yes. Matthew, the household steward of one Sir Thomas More. Oh, and it appears that there's company here for dinner. Right. Where was I? A proposition. Yes. The 16th century was the age of the common man, as are all the others. And that is my proposition.
Wine, please, Matthew.
Peace thou, Sir Thomas.
Ah, thank you. Is it good?
Bless you, sir. I don't know.
Bless you too, Matthew.
But every man has his price.
No.
That's Richard Rich.
But yes, in money too.
No.
Or pleasure, titles, women, bricks and mortar, there's always something.
Childish.
Well, in suffering, certainly.
Buy a man with suffering.
Impose suffering and offer him escape.
Oh, for a moment I thought you were being profound.
Please, sir. No, not a bit profound. It simply becomes the question of how to make one suffer sufficiently.
Ah, and who recommended you to read Signor Machiavelli? Oh, come now, who?
Master Cromwell?
Ah, he's a very able man.
And so he is.
Yes, say that he is. Very able.
He said he'd do something for me.
I didn't know you knew him.
Pardon me, Sir Thomas, but how much do you know about me?
Whatever you've let me know.
I've let you know everything.
You should go back to Cambridge, Richard. You're deteriorating.
Well, I'm not being used. Do you know what I have to show for 7 months' work? Or waiting's work when you wait as I wait hard. After 7 months, that's 200 days, all I have to show is the acquaintance of the Cardinal's outer doorman, the indifference of the Cardinal's inner doorman, and the Cardinal's chamberlain's hand in my chest. Oh, and 1/2 of a good morning at 50 paces from the Duke of Norfolk, and he doubtless mistook me for someone else.
Well, he's very affable at dinner.
Oh, everyone's affable here. And the friendship of Sir Thomas More, or should I say acquaintance?
Say friendship.
Well then, friend of Sir Thomas More's, and still no office. There must be something wrong with him.
I thought we had said friendship. The Dean of St. Paul's offers you a post with a house, a servant, and £50 a year.
Post? What post?
At the new school.
A teacher?
Look, Richard. A man should go where he won't be tempted. Do you see this? Take a look at it.
It's beautiful.
It's Italian. Would you like it?
Why,
No
Yes.
joke. Keep it or sell it.
Thank you. Thank
Well,
you.
You'll sell it, won't you?
Of course, yes.
And buy what?
Some decent clothes. I'd like a gown like yours.
Well, shall get several gowns for that, I should imagine. It was given to me by some woman. Now she's put in a lawsuit at the court of requests. It's a bribe.
Oh, so you give it away, of course.
Yes.
To me?
Well, I'm not going to keep it, and you need it. Of course, if you feel it's contaminated.
Oh no, I'll risk it.
You know, Richard, in office, they offer you all sorts of things. Why? I was once offered a whole village with a mill, a manor house, and heaven knows what else. Coat of arms, I shouldn't be surprised. Why not be a teacher? You would make a fine teacher, perhaps even a great one.
But if I was, who would know it?
You, your pupils, your friends, God. It's not a bad public. And it's a quiet life.
You say that.
Richard, I was commanded into office. It was inflicted on me. Can you believe that?
It's hard.
Be a teacher.
It was magnificent!
Duke Lord Norfolk, Earl Marshal of England.
I tell you, he stooped from the clouds, Alice!
Here.
Lady Alice, my master's wife.
I tell you, he stooped!
He did not.
I say he does.
He could not.
Well, he does.
It's not possible.
But often.
Never.
Oh, blast my soul! Doesn't understand good falconry.
Nay, come sit down.
Meg, my master's daughter. Lovely, really very lovely.
Matty, be about your business. We'll settle this more. We'll push to Thomas. Thomas, no falcon could stoop from a cloud, could he?
I don't know, my dear. It does sound unlikely, but I have seen some falcons do some very splendid things.
But how could he stoop from a cloud? He couldn't see where he was going.
Oh, you see, Alice, you're ignorant of the subject. A real falcon don't care where he's going. Anyway, I'm talking to Meg now. 'Twas the first cast of the day, Meg. The sun was behind us, and all about us, like the roof of a tent, was a fine mist.
Oh, mist, wasn't it?
Mist is a type of cloud, isn't it?
No.
The opinion of Aristotle is that mists are an exhalation of the earth, whereas clouds...
He stooped 500 feet, like that! Like an act of God, isn't he, Thomas?
He is tremendous.
Tremendous.
Oh, did he kill the heron?
Well, the heron was clever, but it was a royal stoop, I tell you. If you could ride Alice, I'd show you.
Oh, but I can ride, my lord.
No, don't make yourself ill.
No, and I'll bet you 25 shillings. No, 30 shillings. I don't see no falcon stoop from no cloud.
Ha done.
Alice, you can't ride with them.
Remember who you are, Thomas? Am I a city wife?
No, indeed. But you've just lost 30 shillings, I think. There are such birds. And then the heron got home to his chicks, so everything was satisfactory.
Ah, yes.
Now, what was that of Aristotle's, Richard?
Nothing, Sir Thomas. It was out of place.
I've never had much use for Aristotle myself. Brilliant philosophy, though. Wonderful mind.
Exactly, Your Grace.
Hey?
Master Richard is newly converted to the doctrines of Signor Machiavelli.
Oh no.
Oh, the Italian. Nasty book from what I hear.
Very practical, your grace.
You read Machiavelli? Oh, splendid girl, Thomas. But where are you ever going to find a husband for her?
Where indeed?
So Machiavelli have largely been mistaken, I think. Indeed, properly apprehended, he has no doctrine. Master Cromwell has a sense of it, I think.
You know Cromwell?
Slightly, Your Grace.
The Cardinal's secretary.
No.
It's a fact.
When, Howard?
2-3 days.
The farrier's son.
Well, the Cardinal's a butcher's son, isn't he?
Aye, well, it'll be up quick and down quick with Master Cromwell at the last name.
Did you know this, Richard?
No.
Do you like Master Cromwell, Master Rich? Well, he'll be the only man in England if he does.
Well, I think I do.
Good. Well, you don't need my help anymore.
If only you know how much I'd rather have your help than his.
Speak of the Cardinal's secretary, and Cardinal appears. He wants me. Now.
At this time of night?
It's the king's business.
The Queen's business, more likely.
More than likely, yes, more than likely.
What's the time?
11 o'clock, sir.
Is there a boat?
Yes, just down the wall.
I hope you'll excuse me, Richard. Your Grace. Now we'll go to bed. Dear Lord, give us rest tonight.
And if we must be wakeful, cheerful, careful only for our soul's salvation. For Christ's sake. Amen.
Bless our Lord the King.
And
Bless our Lord the King.
Amen.
Howard, are you at Richmond?
No, down the river.
Very well. Good night then. Owen Howard, here is a young man desperate for employment. Something in the clerical line?
Well, if you recommend it.
Oh, I don't recommend him. I merely point him out. He's at the New Inn. Could you take him there?
All right, come on.
My lord.
We'll hawk at Hounslow, Alice.
whenever you like, my lord.
Thank you, Sir Thomas.
Be a teacher. Alice, the ground's hard at Hounslow.
Eh? Oh, that's where the cardinal crushed his bum!
Good night.
Night, my lord.
Good night.
Margaret,
Yes.
go to bed.
Stop there. What are you doing?
It's a gift. Sir Thomas gave it to me.
A rather nice present, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Sir Thomas has taken quite a fancy to you, sir. Good evening. Morsel. That one will come to no good. My master, Sir Thomas More, would give anything to anyone. Now, some say that's good, and some say that's bad, but I say he can't help it, and that's bad. Because someday, someone is going to ask him for something which he'll want to keep, and he'll be out of practice. I mean, it's only common sense. He wants to keep some.
It's 1:30. Where have you been?
1 o'clock, Your Grace. I've been on the river.
Since you seem so violently opposed to the dispatch for Rome, I thought you'd like to look it over before it goes.
Your Grace is very kind. Thank you.
Well, what do you think of it?
Seems very well phrased, Your Grace.
Devil it is. Apart from the style, Sir Thomas.
It's addressed to Cardinal Campeggio,
Yes,
not to our own ambassador.
our ambassador is a ninny.
Your Grace appointed him.
Yes, I need a ninny in Rome.
It's devious.
It's a devious situation.
There must be something simple in the middle of it.
Believe you believe that. such a constant regret to me, Thomas. If you could just see facts flat on without that horrible moral squint. With just a little common sense, you could have been a statesman.
Your Grace flatters me.
Don't frivol. Thomas, are you going to help me?
Your Grace could be more specific.
Look, Plotter. Take you all together, Thomas. Your scholarship, your experience. What are you? Come here. You're that king.
Yes?
Where has he been? Do you know?
Aye, Your Grace.
Oh, spare me your discretion. He's been to play in the mud again.
Indeed.
Indeed, are you going to oppose me? It's gone in. All right, we'll plod. King wants a son. What are you going to do about it?
I'm very sure the king needs no advice from me on what to do about that.
Thomas, I give you my word. Where are those? There's no one here.
I didn't suppose there was, Your Grace.
Oh, sit down. Do you favor a change of dynasty, Sir Thomas? Do you think 2 tutors is sufficient?
For heaven's sake, Your Grace.
Then the king needs a son. I repeat, what are you going to do about it?
I pray for it. Daily.
Last he means it. That thing out there is at least fertile, Thomas.
But she is not his wife.
No, Catherine's his wife, and she's as barren as a brick. Going to pray for a miracle.
There are precedents.
All right, yes, good. Pray. Pray by all means, but in addition to prayer, there is effort. My effort is to secure a divorce. Have I your support, or have I not?
A dispensation was granted so that the king might marry Queen Catherine for state reasons. Now, are we going to ask the Pope to dispense with this dispensation also for state reasons?
Don't like plodding, Thomas. Don't make me plod longer than I have to. Well?
Then clearly all we need to do is approach His Holiness and ask him.
Think might influence His Holiness's answer.
Like this.
Like this, yes, and in other ways.
I've already expressed my opinion on this.
Then, good night. Oh, your conscience is your own affair. But you're a statesman. Do you remember the Yorkist Wars?
Very clearly.
Let him die without an heir, and we'll have them back again. Let him die without an heir, and this peace you think so much of will go out like that. Very well then. England needs an heir. Certain measures, perhaps regrettable, perhaps not. There is much in the church that needs reformation, Thomas. All right, regrettable, but necessary to get us an heir. Now explain to me how you, as a Chancellor of England, can obstruct these measures for the sake of your own private conscience.
I believe that when a man forsakes his conscience for the sake of his public affairs, he leads his country down a short road to chaos. We shall have my prayers to fall back upon.
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Govern the country by prayer.
Yes, I should.
I'd like to be there when you try. Who will put his neck in this after me? You, Turnstill, Suffolk?
Turn still for me, Your Grace.
I, but for the king. What about my secretary, Master Cromwell?
Cromwell?
You'd rather do it yourself?
Myself, rather than Cromwell.
Then come down to earth, Thomas. Until you do, bear in mind you have an enemy.
Where?
Here, Thomas.
Your Grace, please.
As God wills.
Perhaps, Your Grace.
More, you should have been a cleric.
Like yourself, Your Grace.
Boat! Boat! Is there a boat anywhere?
Oh, over here.
Where? Boat? Boatman?
Over here, sir.
Ah.
Boatman. Yes, sir, boatman here.
Well, take me home.
Look, you are, sir. Ah, well, I was just going in myself, sir, if you know what I mean.
Ah, well then, find me another boat.
Oh, no, sir. I suspect you'll make it worth my while.
Boatman, have you a license?
What? Of course I got a license, you bleeding cockroach.
Oh, my apologies. Then you know the fair's fixed.
As
Sir Thomas More. Master Cromwell.
You work very late.
Yes, I'm on my way to the Cardinal. Just come from him, I think.
Yes.
You've left him in his laughing mood for me, I hope.
On the whole, I should say not. No, not his laughing.
I am sorry. I am, of course, one of your multitudinous admirers. A penny halfpenny for Chelsea, boatman.
Yes, good night, sir.
Well,
He's a common lad, as they say, sir.
do they? Well, take me home.
What way, sir? Just down the wall.
Sir Thomas More.
Really? Another?
Senor Chapoins. You are up very late, Your Excellency.
So is the Cardinal, Sir Thomas.
He sleeps very little.
You have just left him, I think.
You are correctly informed, as always.
I will not ask you the subject of your conversation.
No, of course not.
Sir Thomas, I will be playing with you. Playing, that is, as far as the diplomatic decencies permit. My master, Charles, the King of Spain. My master, Charles, the King of Spain, feels himself concerned in anything concerning his blood relation. He would feel himself insulted by insult offered to his father's sister. I refer, of course, to Queen Catherine. The King of Spain would feel himself insulted by any insult offered to Queen Catherine.
And his feeling would be very natural.
Sir Thomas, may I ask if you and the Cardinal are, how shall I say, amicable,
Amicably, yes.
in agreement?
Amicably.
Say no more, Sir Thomas. I understand.
I hope you do, Your Excellency.
You are a good man.
I don't see how you deduce that from what I've been saying to you.
A nod is as good as a wink to a blind horse, Sir Thomas. I understand. You are a good man. Dominus vobiscum.
Spiritu tuo.
Philo. You know, people seem to think that boats take care of themselves. They don't. They take money. Why, just to take my anchor, for instance, why, it's nearly a penny a fathom. What would the wife do?
Pay you what I always pay you.
Yeah, fine.
River looks dark. They say it's silting over.
Ah, not so, sir. There's a channel and the middle getting deeper all the time.
How is your wife?
A sad story, that, sir. She's losing her shape. Losing it fast.
And so are we all, eh?
Yep, it's a common thing.
Well, take me home.
Right you are, sir. Why? From Richmond to Chelsea, penny halfpenny. From Chelsea to Richmond, penny halfpenny. From Chelsea to Richmond, it's a hard pull upstream. And the other way around, it's a soft floating downstream. Whoever make these damn regulations doesn't row a stinking boat. Yeah.
Who again? Ah. Matthew.
Yes, sir.
Is the Lady Alice in bed?
Yes, sir. She's...
And the Lady Margaret?
No, sir. Master Roper is here.
Let him in.
He's a hard man to keep out.
Well, good morning, Roper. It's a little early for breakfast.
I'm coming for breakfast, sir.
Who wants to marry me, Father?
Well, he can't.
Sir Thomas, I'm to be called to the bar.
Well, congratulations, Roper.
My family may not be in the palace, sir, but in the city.
Listen, Roper. The Ropers were advocates while the Moors were still selling pewter. No, there's nothing wrong with your family. There's nothing wrong with your fortune. There's nothing wrong with you. Except you need a clock.
Oh, I can buy a clock, sir.
The answer is no. And it will be no so long as you are a heretic.
That's a word I don't like, Sir Thomas.
It's not a likable word. It's not a likable thing.
The church is heretical. Dr. Luther has proved that to my satisfaction.
Luther is an excommunicate.
From a heretic church! Church? It's a shop! Forgiveness by the florin! Job lost now in Germany! Oh, what's next? Dancing at the universities? And yes, and divorces.
Divorces?
Oh yes, half England's buzzing with those.
Half England. Things of courts may be buzzing, but half England does not buzz so easily.
Oh, but it will. And is that a church? Is that a cardinal? Is that a pope? Or Antichrist! Look, what I know I will say.
Oh, you no sense of the place!
There's no sense of the time. Well, listen. 2 years ago, you were a passionate churchman. Now, you are a passionate Lutheran. We must just pray that when your head is finished turning, your face will be toward the front again.
Don't lengthen your prayers with me, sir.
One, more or less. You have a horse?
No. I walked.
What? No! Go, man, be on.
May I come again? Good evening, Sir Thomas. Margaret.
Farewell.
Is that final, Father?
So long as he's a heretic, man, that's absolute. Nice boy, though. Terribly strong principles. I thought I told you to go to bed.
Yes, why?
Because I intended you to go to bed. Or very pensive.
You're very merry. Did the cardinal talk about the divorce?
You know, I think we've been on the wrong track with the Ropers. Never argue with a Roper.
Father, did he?
Old Roper is just the same. Now let him think he's swimming with the current, and he'll turn and start swimming in the opposite direction. What we need is a really substantial attack on the church.
We're going to get it, aren't we?
Now, Margaret, I won't have you talk treason, and I won't have you repeat lawyer's gossip. I'm a lawyer myself, and I know what it's worth.
Thomas!
Now look what you've done.
Thomas! Young Roper, I've just seen young Roper on my horse!
It's all right, dear. He'll bring it back. He's been to see Margaret.
Oh, why don't you beat that girl?
No, no. She's full of education. And that is a delicate commodity. Well, there now, and think what it cost us.
Margaret, hot water. Sure you're doing right.
Now. I hope you weren't awakened.
No, I wasn't sleeping very deeply. What did Wolsey want?
Did you know that young Roper asked for Margaret's hand in marriage?
Oh, it's not gonna happen.
No.
Old fox. What did Wolsey want?
He wanted me to read a dispatch.
Is that all?
A Latin dispatch.
You don't want to talk about it?
No.
Norfolk was speaking for you as Chancellor before he left.
Oh, folks, a dangerous friend then. Mosley is Chancellor, God help him. We don't want another. What's this? I don't want this.
Oh, drink it. Great men get cold in the head the same as commoners.
Now, Alice, that's dangerous leveling talk. Beware of the tower.
Drink it.
All right, I will. Drink it in bed.
But you want to be Chancellor?
No.
Well, that's what I said, but Norfolk said that if Wolsey fell...
Well, if Wolsey fell, the splash would swamp a few small boats like ours. There will be no new chancellors as long as Wolsey lives.
Yes. Whether we follow tradition in ascribing Wolsey's death to pulmonary pneumonia or follow Professor Larcombe's more feeling diagnosis of a broken heart, the collective cause was the king's displeasure. Wolsey died in November of 1530, while on his way to the Tower under charge of high treason. England's next Chancellor was Sir Thomas More, a scholar and by popular repute a saint. His scholarship is easy enough to establish, for his writings were prolific, but saintliness a little less easy to establish. But needless to say, his willful indifference to the realities of the times, which his contemporaries all too plainly saw, shows that he might have in fact had it.
Ah, Rich! What brings you to Hampton?
I came with the Duke, Master Cromwell. They're hunting again.
It's kingly pastime, Master Rich. I'm glad you found employment. You're the Duke's secretary, are you not?
My work is most secretarial, yes.
Or is it perhaps the Duke's librarian that you are?
Yes, I look after His Grace's library.
And I don't suppose you're much bothered by His Grace in the library. You know, I find it funny how differently men's fortunes can flow. My late master died in disgrace. Here I am in the King's own service. Meanwhile, you're in a comparative backwater, and yet the Lord Chancellor is an old friend of yours.
Well, I wouldn't exactly say friend.
Oh, well, I was under the impression he was.
Well, in a sense he is.
I understood that he set you up in life.
Master Cromwell, what is it you do for the king?
Yes! I should like to know that, Master Cromwell.
Señor Chapoy. Señor Chapoy, Spanish ambassador. The Duke of Norfolk's librarian.
But how should we introduce you, Master Cromwell, if we had the habit?
Sly. You notice how sly he is, Rich? Well, I suppose you could call me the king's ear. It's a useful organ, the ear, but in truth it's much simpler. When the king wants something done, I do it.
But then why these justices, chancellors, admirals?
Oh, they are our constitution, our ancient English constitution. I merely do things.
For example, Master Cromwell?
Where these professional diplomats work. Well, for instance, next week at Deptford we're launching the Great Harry. 66 heavy guns, 1,000 tons of weight, 175 feet in length, 4 masts, expected to be most effective. All this you probably know. What you may not know is that the king himself will pilot her on her maiden voyage. Yes, the king himself will be her pilot. He will have a pilot's whistle upon which he will blow, and he will wear in every respect the garb of a common pilot. With the slight difference that the fabric will be cloth of gold. These innocent fancies require more preparation than you might expect, and someone has to do it. Meanwhile, I do prepare myself for higher things. I stock my mind.
Alas, Master Cromwell, don't we all? This ship, for instance. Oh, it has 56 guns, by the way, not 66, and only 40 of them ahead. After the launching, I understand, the king will take his barge to Chelsea.
Yes.
To?
Sir Thomas More's.
Will you be there?
No, they'll be talking about the divorce. The king will ask Sir Thomas for an answer.
Sir Thomas has given his answer.
The king will ask Sir Thomas for another.
Sir Thomas is a good son of the church.
Sir Thomas is a man.
Is it that his steward?
Yes, I believe it is. Well, good day, Your Excellency.
Good day, Master Cromwell.
I said good day.
He doesn't talk about with Lady Alice, his wife.
This is well done.
Oh, he doesn't talk about it with Lady Margaret, sir, and that is his daughter.
So,
He's frightened, sir. He goes white at the very mention of it.
all right.
Sir.
Good evening. Rich, are you coming my way?
No,
I think you should, you know.
I can't tell you anything.
Well,
Sir Thomas More gets up at 6 and prays for an hour and a half.
yes.
During Lent, he went completely on bread and water.
Yes.
He goes to confession twice a week, Dominican priest.
He is a true son of the church.
That he is, sir.
What did Master Cromwell want?
Say,
No man can serve two masters, do
oh no, I, sir, only one.
Good. Simple man. Here, peace be with you.
And also on you.
Our Lord watch you.
Matthew, what did the ancient boy want?
Same as you.
Well, what did you tell him?
Well, I told him that Sir Thomas More gets up at 6, goes to communion and fasts.
Why that?
That's what he wanted to know. I could have told him any number of things, that Sir Thomas More has rheumatism, prefers red wine to white wine, is easily seasick, fond of nippers, but no, that is what he wanted to know.
Well, what did he say?
He said Sir Thomas More was a good son of the church.
Well, that's true, isn't it?
Well, yes. Master Rich. Master Cromwell went that way.
Did I ask you where Master Cromwell went?
The things not to get in beyond your depth. What I've told them is common knowledge, simple in fact. But now, they've paid money for it. And everyone wants a value for their money. And they'll make it valuable by making it dangerous. Oh, and when I can't touch the bottom, I'll go deaf, blind, and dumb. And this, that's more than what I make in a fortnight.
There's no sign of him, my lord.
Oh, upon my word, he must be found, Alice!
But he must be in the house. He's not in the house, mother. But then he must be here in the garden.
Right. You take things too far, Alice!
Oh, do I not know it?
It will end badly for
I
him!
know that too. Where's my
Master,
master?
where is your master?
Where's
Sir, do not ask me!
Lady Alice, Thomas will get no good of it. This is not how Wolsey made himself great.
No, Thomas has his own way of doing things, my lord.
I know Thomas is unique, but where is Thomas?
Thomas! Father!
My Lord Chancellor, does the king come to visit you every day?
No, but I go to Vespers most days.
He's here!
Isn't this visit meant to be a surprise?
For you, yes, not for him. Do you propose to meet the king dressed as a parish clerk? A parish clerk, my Lord Chancellor. You dishonor the king in his office.
The service of God is not a dishonor to any office. Believe me, my friend, I do not belittle the honor His Majesty is doing. Well, that's a nice dress, Alice. And so is that, Margaret. Well, I'm a dowdy bird, aren't I? Well, now, calm yourself, Alice. We're all ready now.
Thomas!
What? What's now?
Oh, you can be harebrained.
Father, be still. And your second best speech.
What wind possessed you?
It was not a wing.
Oh, enough, enough.
No ceremony, Thomas, no ceremony. A passing fancy. I happen to be on the river. Look, mud.
We do it in better style, Your Grace, when we come by the road.
Oh, the road. There's the road for me, Thomas. The river, my river. By heaven, what an evening. Lady Alice, I feel as though we come upon you rather unexpectedly.
No, Your Grace. That is, yes, Your Grace. But we are ready to entertain Your Grace. That is,
Has Your Grace had the pleasure to meet my daughter, Margaret?
Why, Margaret? They tell me that you are a scholar.
among women I pass for one, Your Grace.
Antiquone modo latum Aquarius and Occidensi.
Poi me doco with pater domine.
Bene, altuus te comiete doctorat.
Graeca me doco with non pater meus sed me patris amicos. Johannes Coletus anti padre decanus. Literis Graecis tamen nos ars megis primum tur discriminatum de dia.
Oh, take care, Thomas. Too much reading is a weariness for the soul, and there's no end to the making of books. Can you dance?
Not well, Your Grace.
Well, I dance superlatively. That, Margaret, is a dancer's leg. Say Norfolk. Aye, now that's a wrestler's leg, but I can still throw him. Oh, I shall Die!
No, Your Grace.
You are gentle. That's good. You shall read to me. No, you shall read to me. Lady Alice, the river has given me an appetite.
Would Your Grace share a simple supper with us?
It would please me to. I am something of a scholar myself. Did you know that, Margaret?
All the world knows your Grace's book asserting the 7 sacraments of the Church.
Aye, but between you and me, your father had a hand in that as well. Hey, Thomas?
Here and there, Your Grace, in a minor capacity.
He seeks to shame me with his modesty. On second thought, we will follow you, Lady Alice. Thomas and I shall follow you. Wait! Margaret, are you fond of music?
Yes, Your Grace.
Blow. Louder. Lady Alice, take them in. Come, Thomas. Listen to this, Thomas. Do you know it?
Oh, Your Grace.
Listen, man. I launched the ship today, Thomas.
Yes, Your Grace.
Listen, man. The Great Harry, I steered her under sail.
Many talents.
Listen, man. Listen, it was a great experience. A great experience, Thomas.
Yes, Your Grace.
I am a fool.
How so?
What else but a fool to live at a court in a licentious mob when I have friends with gardens?
Your Grace.
No courtship, no ceremony, be seated. You are my friend, are you not?
Your Majesty.
And thank God I have a friend for my Chancellor. Readier to be my friend than he was to be my Chancellor. Hey, Thomas?
My own knowledge of my poor ability.
I will judge your abilities, Thomas. Did you know that Wolsey named you for Chancellor?
Wolsey
Aye, before he died. Wolsey named you, and Wolsey was no fool.
was a statesman of incomparable ability, Your Grace.
Was he? Was he so? Then why did he fail me? Be seated. It was villainy then, yes, villainy. I was right to bring him. He was a proud man, pride right through, Thomas, and he failed me! He failed me, Thomas, at the one thing that mattered. The one thing that matters then or now. And why? Because he wanted to be the Pope. Oh yes, he wanted to be the Bishop of Rome. I will tell you this, Thomas, and you can check this for yourself. It was never merry in England when we had cardinals amongst us. But look now, I shall never forget the feel of that great tiller in my hand. I took down to the Doggett's Bank and sailed her up to the Tilbury Roads. A man could sail clean around the world in that ship.
Some men could, Your Grace.
Touching this matter of my divorce, Thomas, have you thought of it since we last spoke?
Of little else.
Then you see your way clear to me.
That you should put away Queen Catherine's side. Alas, as I think of it, I see so clearly that I cannot come with Your Grace, and my endeavor is not to think of it at all.
Then you have not thought enough! Great Scott, Thomas, why do you hold it against me in the desire of my heart, the very wig of my heart?
There is my right arm. Take your dagger and saw it from my shoulder, and I will laugh and be thankful if by that means I can come with Your Grace with a clear conscience.
I know it, Thomas. I know.
I crave pardon if I've offended.
Speak then!
When I took the Great Seal, Your Grace promised not to pursue me on this matter.
Ha! So I broke my word, Master Moore! Ha! No, I'm joking. I joke roughly. Yes, I joke roughly. I happen to think I'm a rough fellow. Yes, a rough young fellow. Be seated. I'm in an excellent frame of mind. You must understand, Thomas, that I stand in the very peril of my soul. There was no marriage, she was my brother's wife. Leviticus, thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 16.
Yes, Your Grace, but Deuteronomy...
Deuteronomy's ambiguous!
Grace, I'm not fitted to meddle in these matters. To me, it seems a question for the Holy See.
Thomas, does a man need a pope to tell him when he sinned? It was a sin, Thomas. I admit it and I repent. And God has punished me. I have no son. Son after son she's borne me, and all dead at birth are dead within a month. I've never seen the hand of God so clear in anything. I have a daughter. She's a good child, a well-said child. But I have no son! It is my bounden duty to put away the Queen, and all the popes back at St. Peter shall not come between me and my duty! How, as you cannot see, everybody else does!
Then why does your Grace need my poor support?
Because you are honest. Once more, you are known to be honest. There are those like Norfolk who follow me simply because I wear the crown. And there are those like Master Cromwell who follow me because they are jackals with sharp teeth and I am their lion. And then there's the mass which follows anything that moves. And then there's you.
I am sick to think how much I must displease your Grace.
Thomas, I respect your sincerity. Respect. That's water in the desert. What did you think of our music? That air they played, it had a certain... Well, tell me what you thought of it.
Could it have been your Grace's own?
Discovered. Now that's irksome, Thomas, for we artists, though we love praise, yet we love truth more.
Then I will tell your Grace, truly, what I thought of it.
Speak then.
To me, it seemed delightful.
Thomas, I chose the right man for Chancellor.
Though I must in fairness add that my own taste in music is reputedly deplorable.
Your taste in music is excellent. It exactly coincides with my own. Ha, music. Send them back without me, Thomas. I shall live here in Chelsea and make music.
Our house is at your Grace's disposal.
Thomas, you must understand me. You and I will stay here together and make music.
Will your Grace honor our house after dinner?
Yes, I expect I'll bellow for you.
My wife will be more than glad.
Yes. Touching this other matter, Thomas, mark it, I will have no opposition.
Your Grace?
No opposition, Thomas. Your conscience is your own affair, but you're my Chancellor. There you have my word, I leave you out of it. But I do not take it kindly, Thomas. I will have no opposition. Oh, I see how it will be. The bishops will oppose me, the few vile hypocritical princes of the church, and as for the Pope, he might have burned in hell because the Bishop of Rome and the King of Spain knife to his throat. Mouths be Deuteronomy hypocrites. They're all hypocrites, Thomas. Waddle if you will, Thomas, but do not let them take you in. I will have no opposition. No writings, no speeches, no pamphlets, no signs, no letters, no writings against me. Mark it, Thomas.
Your Grace is unjust. I am your Grace's loyal minister. If I cannot come with your Grace on this great matter of the Queen...
I have no Queen! Catherine is not my wife, and no priest can make her so. And those who say that she is are not only liars, but traitors. Mind it, Thomas!
Am I a babbler, your Grace?
You are stubborn. But once more, Thomas, if you could come with me, you are the man that I would soonest raise. Yes, with my own two hands.
Your Grace overwhelms me.
What's that?
8 o'clock, your Grace.
Oh, lift yourself up, man. Have I not promised? Shall we eat?
Yes, your Grace. What will your Grace sing for us?
8 o'clock, you said? Oh, Thomas, the tide. I forgot about the tide. I must be going or I will not get back to Richmond until... No, don't come. Tell Norfolk. Oh, Lady Alice, I fear I must be going. To tell you the truth, Alice, I forgot how time flies here in your haven. So I give you my thanks and say, good night!
Good night, your Grace.
What's this? You've crossed him?
Somewhat.
Why?
Because I couldn't find the other way.
You're altogether too nice, Thomas.
Woman, mind your house.
I am minding my house.
Well, what would you have me do?
Be ruled. If you can't rule him, be ruled.
I neither could nor would rule my king. But there's a little area where I must rule myself. It's very little, less to him than a tennis court. Now look, it's 8 o'clock, and at 8 o'clock Lady Anne likes to dance.
Oh,
I think so.
and you stand between them.
Ah, what stands between them is the sacrament of the church. I'm less important than you think.
Thomas, stay friends with him.
Well, whatever can be done by smiling, you may count on me to do it.
You don't know how to flatter.
I flatter very well, I think. My recipe is beginning to be widely copied. It's the basic syrup with just a superb discreet impudence.
I wish he'd eaten here.
Yes, we shall be living on that simple supper of yours for a fortnight. Alice. Alice. Set your mind at rest. This is not the stuff of which martyrs are made.
Sir Thomas!
Deal.
Sir Thomas!
William, I'm calling not to!
I am not so easily told, Meg.
I ask you not to!
Meg, I am bold to hear.
It's not convenient!
Must everything be made convenient? I'm not a convenient man, Meg. I've got an inconvenient conscience.
Come to us, trumpet young man. One note on that brass conscience of yours, and my daughter's walls are deaf.
Ah, you raised her, sir.
How long have you been here? Are you with the king's party?
No, sir, I'm not the king's party. It's matters to speak with you, though, sir. My spirit is perturbed.
Is it, Will? And why?
I have been offered a seat in the next parliament, sir. Ought I to take it?
No, well, that depends. I should have thought that you could have done yourself a lot of good in the next parliament with your views on church reform.
My views on the church, I must confess, my views on the church since last we spoke have been somewhat modified. but modified nothing, though, concerning the body of the church. Yes, the money cages in the temple must be scourged from it. A fire if need be, but attacking the church itself, no, I see an attack on that, an attack on God.
Robert?
The devil's work, sir.
Robert?
To be done by the devil's ministers.
For heaven's sake, man, remember my office.
Well, then if you stand in your office, then.
Do not stand on my office. But there are certain things which a man in my position may not hear.
Sophistication. It is what I was told. The court has corrupted you, Sir Thomas. You are not the man you were. You have learned to study your convenience. You have learned to flatter.
Well, there, you see, Alice, I have a reputation for it.
I'm a nitty young man. If I were the Chancellor, I'd have you whipped!
Sir Thomas, Master Richard's yard.
Ah, Richard. Good evening, Sir Thomas. Lady Alice. Lady Margaret.
Oh, good evening, Master Rich.
Do you know William Roper the Younger?
By reputation, of course, yes.
Good evening, Master.
Rich.
You've heard of me?
Yes. In what connection? I don't know what you could have heard. I sense I'm not welcome here.
Why, Richard? Have you done anything that should make you not welcome?
Why? Do you suspect me of it?
Well, I shall begin to.
Master Cromwell is asking questions. About you particularly.
Yes, I know.
She's continually collecting information about you.
Stay a minute, man.
And that's one of his sources.
Yes, of course. He's one of my servants.
Senior Chapoy, the Spanish ambassador.
Collects information too. It's one of his functions.
You look at me as though I were an enemy.
Richard, you're shaking.
I'm adrift. Help me.
How?
Employ me.
No.
Employ me.
No.
I would be steadfast.
Richard, you couldn't answer for yourself, even so far as for tonight.
Arrest him!
Aye.
For what?
He's dangerous.
Unlibeled, he is a spy.
Aye. Father, that man's bad.
There's no law against that.
There is God's law.
Well, then God can arrest him.
Sophistication upon sophistication, sir.
No, Roper. Share simplicity. The law. The law. I know what's legal, not what's right, and I'll stick to what's legal.
Then you are setting man's law above God's.
No, far below. Let me draw your attention to a fact. I'm not God. The currents and eddies of right and wrong through which you find such plain sailing, I can't navigate. I'm no voyager. But in the thickets of the law, there I'm a forester. I doubt if there's a man alive who can follow me there. Thank God.
And while you talk, he's gone.
Oh, go he should if you were the devil himself until he broke the law.
So now you give the devil the benefit of the law.
Yes. And what would you do? Cut a great road through the law to get after the devil?
I would cut down every law in England to do just that.
Oh, when the last law was down and the devil turned round on you, Roper, where would you hide? The laws all being flat? This country is planted thick with laws, from coast to coast. Man's laws, not God's. If you cut them all down, you're just the man to do it. Do you think you could stand upright in the winds that would blow then? Yes, I would give the devil the benefit of the law, for my own safety's sake.
I have long suspected this. This is the golden calf. The law is your God.
Roper, you're a fool. God is my God. I find that he's rather subtle. I don't know where he is or what he wants.
My God wants service to the end and unremitting nothing else.
Is that God? Sounds more like Bullock. But indeed, he may be God. And whoever hunts for me, Roper, be he God or devil, will find me hiding in the thickets of the law. Yes, and I'll hide my daughter with me, not hoist her up on the mainmast of your sea-going principles. Put about too nimbly.
Oh, that's harsh.
What has happened here?
Well, he cannot abide a fool, that's all. Be off!
Hide you? Hide you from what?
Well, he said nothing about hiding me, you've noticed. I've grown too fat to hide. Mother, you know he meant his bow.
No, we didn't. Like what?
I don't know. I don't know if he knows. You know, he's not said one simple, direct word to me since this whole divorce business came up. It's not God who's gone subtle. It's him.
Roper, that was harsh. Your principles are excellent. They are of the best quality. No, now I mean it. Your principles are fine. Now listen. We must make a start on all that food.
Father, can't you be playing with us?
I stand on the wrong side of no statute and no common law. I've not disobeyed my sovereign. I truly believe there's no man in England who is safer than myself. And I want my supper. Will, there's plenty to go around, if you care. We have an excellent burgundy, if your principles permit.
They don't, sir.
Well, have some water in it then.
Oh, just the water, sir.
My poor boy.
Thomas, why does Cromwell collect information about you?
I'm a prominent figure. Someone somewhere is collecting information about Cromwell. Now, no more shirking. We must make a start. Is that a stuffed swan I smell? Will. I would trust you with my life, but not your principles. You see, we speak speak of being anchored to our principles, but if the weather turns nasty, you'd up with the anchor and put it down somewhere where the wind's less and the fishing's better. And then we say, look, I'm anchored to my principles.
The loyal subject, it's a pug. And me, well, I'm Republican. Why, he's deep, that Sir Thomas More. Deep. And it takes a deep constitution to get a man as deep as that. And a deep education. One the likes of me can hardly be expected to keep up with one like him now, can I? Right. We ready?
Is this a good place for a conspiracy innkeep?
Oh yes, you asked for the private room?
Yes. Want a room without so many dark little corners.
Oh, I don't understand. There's just the four corners that you see.
You don't understand.
No?
Do you know who I am?
No.
Don't be too tactful, innkeep.
You just don't understand.
Well, the likes of you are too tactful. The likes of me begin to wonder who's the fool.
I simply don't understand, sir.
The master statesman of us all. I don't understand. All right. Get out.
Good evening.
Come on! Yes, it may be that I am somewhat intoxicated. But not with liquor. With success. Who has a strong head for success? None of us gets in that bit. Except for kings. And they're born drunk.
Success? What success?
Guess.
Collector of revenues at York?
Ha! You do keep your ear to the ground, don't you? No.
What then?
Sir Thomas Paget is retiring.
Secretary to the council?
'Tis astonishing, is it not?
Yes. I mean, well, it's only logical.
No courtship. No ceremony. Be seated. As His Majesty might say. You see, I trust him.
I would never repeat or report anything said like that.
And what sort of thing would you repeat or report?
Well, nothing said in friendship. May I say friendship?
If you like. This, I would never repeat or report anything. Do you really believe that?
Yes.
No, but seriously.
Yes.
Really. Seriously.
Well, it would depend on what I was offered.
No, say just to please me.
It's true. It would depend on what I was offered.
Everyone knows it. Not many men can say it. Well, congratulations.
On what?
I think you'll make a fine collector of revenues for York Diocese.
Is it in your gift?
It will be.
Wait, what do I have to do to get it?
It's not my advantage. There's no system of rewards and penalties. So much worldly prosperity for so much wickedness. You're sure you're not religious?
Almost sure.
Get sure. No, it's much more a matter of convenience. Yes, administrative convenience. See, ordinarily, when a man wants to change his woman, you let him if it's convenient, and you prevent him if it's not. Indeed, ordinarily, it's of such little importance that you leave it to the priests. But the constant factor is this element of convenience.
Convenience? Whose convenience?
Ours, but everyone's as well. Unfortunately, in the present instance, the man who wants to change his woman is our sovereign Lord Henry. By the grace of God,
God the 8th of that name, which is a quaint way of saying that if he wants to change his form, he will. So that becomes the constant factor. And it's our duty, as administrators, to make it as convenient as possible. I say our duty on the assumption that you'll accept the post at York I've offered you.
Yes. Yes.
It's a bad sign when a man is so depressed by his own good fortune.
I'm not depressed.
You look depressed.
I'm lamenting. Just lost my innocence.
You've lost your innocence some time ago, Master Rich. If you're only just now noticing, it can't have been that important to you.
That's true. It can't have been that important to me.
We feel a sudden clearing of the head, fresh feeling as from outdoor air.
Yes. Collector of revenues isn't bad.
Not for his time. Now, our Lord Chancellor. There's an innocent man.
Well, that's the thing. He is innocent.
Yes, I said he is. The trouble is that his innocence is entangled in the proposition that you can't change your woman unless you get a divorce. You can't get a divorce unless the Pope says you can. And although His present holiness is judged, even by the most liberal standards, a strikingly corrupt individual, yet he has this word Pope attached to him. And it's from this quite meaningless circumstance that I expect some degree of, shall we say,
Administrative inconvenience?
just so. This cup he gave you, by the way, how much was it worth? Come on now, Rich. Sir Thomas gave you a silver goblet. How much did you get for it?
50 shillings?
Could you take me to the shop?
Yes.
Where did he get it? It was a gift, wasn't it? From a litigant. A woman.
Yes.
In what court was this litigant's appeal placed? Chancery? Don't get drunk. In what court was the litigant's appeal placed?
The Court of Requests?
That wasn't so painful, was it?
No.
And that's all there is. And you'll find it easier next time.
What application do these bits of information that you collect have?
None, usually.
But sometimes?
Well, sometimes there are these men, you know, upright, steadfast men, who want themselves to be the constant factor in the situation, which, of course, they can't be. The situation rolls forward in any case.
And then?
Well, then, if they have any sense, they get out of the way.
Well, what if they haven't any sense?
None at all. Well, then they're only fit for heaven. But Sir Thomas has got plenty of sense. He could be frightened.
But you're forgetting, Sir Thomas is an innocent.
I think we'll end there for the night. After all, he is our Lord Chancellor.
But you're wrong this time. You've mistaken your man this time. He doesn't know how to be frightened.
Doesn't know how to be frightened. Then he never say, put his hand in a candle, did he?
Ah! You enjoyed that! You enjoyed that.
All right, you ready to go? All right, ready. When I motion this side, you say act. And when I say to this side, you say two. So ready?
Act two.
Really? Come on. Let's try this again.
Act two. Act two.
There we go. Then call for it. Cue the lights. All right. When last we left this fair, it was about 1530. And while you all were on your cell phones wasting time, 2 years went by. See how much time you waste on those things? So now it is 1532. And in that time, this has come along. The Church of England, that finest flower of our island, the genius for compromise, that system particular to these shores, the despair of foreign observers, which deflects the torrents of religious passion down the canals of moderation. What do you think? Dead silence. Okay. Well, this was achieved by a simple act of Parliament, and only an unhappy few set themselves against the course of the time, and in so doing, caused disaster. For we are living in an age less fastidious than our own, where imprisonment without trial and examination under torture were common practice.
Must you wear those clothes, Will?
Yes, I must.
Why?
The time has come for decent men to declare their allegiance.
And what allegiance are those designed to convey?
My allegiance to the church.
Well, you look like a Spaniard.
Well, all credit due to Spain.
You have lasted 6 months in Spain. You've been burned alive during your heretic period.
Well, it's not like I could expect the Spanish Inquisition.
No one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Yes, well, I suppose you have the right to remind me of it. That chain of office you wear was a dictation.
I've already told you. The bishops in convocation submitted this morning. I'll take it off. It's no degradation, though. Great men have worn this.
Yes, well, when do you expect to hear from these bishops?
About now. I was promised an immediate message.
I don't see what difference a convocation can make. The church is already a wing of the palace, is it not? The king is already its supreme head, is he not?
No.
You're denying the Act of Supremacy.
No, I'm not. The Act of Supremacy states that the king...
The supreme head of the Church of England.
Supreme head of the Church of England, so far as the law of God allows. Now, how far the law of God allows, the Act does not state. So it remains a matter of opinion.
A legal quibble.
Call it what you will, it's there. Thank God.
Well, in your opinion, how far does the law of God allow us?
Keep my opinion to myself.
Oh. Well, I will tell you mine. I don't.
Your opinion, what I think it is. It's high treason. Remember, you have a wife now, Will. You may have children.
Why must he remember that?
To keep myself discreet.
Then I'd rather you forget it.
Oh, you two are either idiots or children.
Or saints, my lord.
Oh, Father, Senor Chapoy is here to see you.
Or saints, my lord. Or saints.
Saints, Will, turn your head a little bit. Yes, I think I detect a faint radiance around it. You should have told us, Will. You should have told us.
Oh, come now, my lord. It seems that you too, at this time, are not free from some suspicion of sacredness.
I don't like the sound of that, Your Excellency. What does Your Excellency require of me?
May I not come to simply pay my respects to the English Socrates, as I see your angelic friend Erasmus calls you?
Yes, and I'll think of something presently to call Erasmus. Socrates, you say? I have no taste for hemlock, if that's what Your Excellency requires.
Heaven forbid!
Amen.
Must I require anything? After all, we are brothers in Christ, you and I.
A characteristic which we share with the rest of humanity. You live in Cheapside, senor? Well, to make contact with a brother of Christ, all you need do is open a window and empty a chamber pot. There was no need to come to Chelsea. William, the Spanish ambassador is here on business. You wouldn't mind?
Oh no, I protest.
He's clearly here on business.
Oh, but really, I protest. Dominus vobiscum, fine.
Et cum spiritu tuo. Ex excellencies.
And how much longer will we hear that holy language on these shores?
Isn't holy, your grace, just old.
My dear Sir Thomas, I cannot believe you will allow yourself to be associated with the recent actions of King Henry in respect of Queen Catherine.
Subjects are associated with the actions of their kings willy-nilly.
The Lord Chancellor is no ordinary subject. He bears responsibility for what is done.
Have you considered that what has been done poorly under one Chancellor may have been done much worse by another?
Believe me, Sir Thomas, your influences on these policies has been much searched for, and where it has been found, it has been praised. But there comes a point, does there not?
Yes, there does come a point
when the sufferings of one unfortunate lady swell to an attack on the religion of an entire country. That point has been passed. When that point has been passed, Sir Thomas, one is not merely compromised. One is in truth corrupted.
What does your excellency want?
Rumor has it that if the church in convocation submits to the king, you will resign.
I see. And supposing I were to resign, would you approve?
Approve? Applaud? Admire?
Why?
Because it would show one man, and that man known to be temperate, unable to continue with this wickedness.
And that man known to be a Chancellor of England, too.
Believe me, Sir Thomas, such a signal would be seen.
Signal?
Yes, my lord. It would be seen and understood.
By whom?
By half your fellow countrymen. I have just returned from Yorkshire and Northumberland, where I have made a tour.
And?
Things are very different there. There, they are ready.
Ready for what?
Resistance.
Resistance? By what means? By force of arms?
We are adjured by St. Paul to don the arms of God when the occasion warrants.
Ah, metaphorical arms then. The helmet of salvation and the breastplate of righteousness. I mean a metaphorical resistance.
He shall flee, the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through.
I see.
Sir Thomas, excuse me, sir, His Grace the Duke of Norfolk. It's all over, sir.
One moment, Roper, I'll do it. Thomas? Oh!
I was on the point of leaving, your grace. I was merely trying to borrow a book, but without success. Are you sure you do not have a copy? Then I will leave you. Gentlemen. Ladies.
Sir Thomas.
I'll do it, Roper. Convocation's knuckled under, Thomas. They're to pay a fine of £100,000. And we've severed the connection with Rome.
Connection with Rome. Connection with Rome is nice.
Your Grace, this is quite certain, is it?
Yes. Funny company, eh, Thomas?
It's quite unintentional. He doesn't mean to be funny. Will you help me with this?
Not I.
Oh, shall I, sir?
No, thank you, Will. Alice.
No, Thomas. You're taken for a wise man. Is this wisdom? To betray your ability, abandon practice, forget your duty to your station and your kin, and behave like a printed book?
Margaret, will you?
If you want.
There's my clever girl.
Well, Thomas, why? Make me understand, because I'll tell you, where I'm standing, this looks like cowardice.
All right, I will! This is not reformation. This is war against the church. Our king has declared on the Pope because the Pope will not declare that our queen is not his wife.
Well, is she?
I will answer that for one man only, the king. Aye, that's in private too.
Man, you're cautious.
Yes, cautious. Not one of your hawks.
All right then, we're at war with the Pope. The Pope's a prince, isn't he?
He is
And a bad one at that?
bad enough. But the theory is that he's also the vicar of God, the heir of St. Peter, and our only link with Christ.
A tenuous link.
And it was indeed.
Does this make sense? You'll throw away everything you've got, including the respect of your country, for a theory?
The apostolic succession of the Pope. Why, yes, it's a theory. You can't see it, you can't touch it, it's a theory. What matters to me is that I believe it to be true. Or rather, not that I believe it, but that I believe it. I trust I make myself obscure.
Perfectly.
Obscurity is what I have need of now.
Thomas, this isn't Spain, you know.
By your word that what is said here is between us, it has no existence beyond these walls,
All right then.
and if the king himself should command you to repeat what I have said,
I should keep my word to you.
then what has become of your oath of obedience to the king?
You lay traps for me.
No. I show you the times.
Why do you insult me with these lawyers' tricks?
Because I'm afraid.
Well, here is your response. The king accepts your resignation very sadly. He is mindful of your past loyalty and good works, and in any matter regarding your honor or property, he shall be your good lord. So much for your fear.
I will convey my humble gratitude.
I will. Good night, Alice. I should rather deal with you than with your husband.
Howard, Senor Chapois has just made a tour of the North Country. He thinks we shall have trouble there. So do I.
What kind of trouble?
The church, the old church, not the new church, is very strong up there. I mean it, Howard. Keep an eye on the Scottish border this next spring, and bear in mind the old alliance.
We will. We do. As for the Spaniard, Thomas, it may relieve your mind to know that one of Secretary Cromwell's men made the tour with him.
Of course, Master Cromwell has matters in hand.
He does.
Yes, I can imagine.
But thank you for the information all the same. It's nice to know that you still have some vestige of patriotism.
It was a remarkably stupid observation, Norfolk.
That's it for you then. What are you going to do now? Sit by the fire and make goslings in the ash?
Not a bit, Alice, not a bit. Why, I'll write a bit. I'll read. I'll write. I'll think. I think I shall learn to fish. I'll play with my grandchildren once son Roper has done his duty. Alice, shall I tell you to read?
By my stars and garters, no, Thomas!
Son Roper, I hope you're pleased with me.
Sir, I believe you made a noble gesture.
A gesture? I was not able to continue. It was not possible to continue. I hope it's understood I made no gesture. Alice, you don't think I would do this to you for a gesture? That's a gesture. This is a gesture. I'm no street acrobat to be making gestures. I'm practical.
You belittle yourself, sir. This isn't practical. This is moral.
Oh, I understand now. Morality is not practical. Morality is a gesture. A complicated gesture learned in books. That's what you say, Alice. And you? Meg?
It is for most of us, Father.
Oh, you're cruel. The cruel family.
Oh, you can put the cap on anyone you want. But if there's cruelty to be found in this house, I know where to look for it. No, Mother. Oh, you'd walk on the bottom of the sea and think yourself a crab if he suggested it. And you'd dance into the tower. You'd dance into the block, like David with his harp, scattering hymn books in his path. You poor silly man. Do you think they'll leave you here to learn to fish?
We govern our tongues, Alice, they will. Now listen, I have a word to say about this. I've made no statement. I've resigned, and that's all. On the king's divorce, which he'll grant himself, supremacy, marriage he'll make himself. Have you heard me make any statement?
No. And if I'm to lose my rank and fall to housekeeping, I'd like to know the reason. So make a statement now, Thomas.
No, Alice. It's a point of law. Accept it from me that in silence lies my safety under the law. My silence must be absolute, must extend even to you.
Oh, in short, you don't trust us.
Man would need to be half-witted not to trust you. But look, I'm the Lord Chief Justice. I am Master Cromwell. I'm the king's head jailer. And I take your hand, and I clamp it on the Bible, on the Holy Cross, and I say, woman, has your husband made a statement on these matters? Now, on peril of your soul, what is your answer?
No.
So it must remain. It's only a lifeline. You shan't have to use it. But it is comforting to have. No. When they find I'm silent, they'll think nothing better than to leave me silent. You'll see.
Sir Thomas More, the household is in the kitchen. They'll want to know.
Yes. You must go and tell them. They'll mostly have to go, Alice, but not before we found places for them.
Wait, we can't find places for all of them.
Yes, we can. Now, will you go and talk to them?
Last it all comes on us quickly.
What about you, Matthew?
Sir,
Will be a smaller household now, and for you, I'm afraid a smaller wage. Will you stay?
unfortunately no, Sir Thomas.
You're a single man.
True, but there are other considerations.
Quite right. I don't see how you could. Still, I shall miss you.
No, Sir Thomas, you never had much time for me. You see right through me. I know that, sir.
I shall miss you, Matthew. I shall.
Doesn't that be all?
Him. Miss me?
What's in me for him to miss?
Woo!
That was a close one. Matthew, will you take a cut of your wages? No, Sir Thomas, I will not. That's it. So what? He's down on his luck. I'm sorry. I am genuinely sorry. If I had any extra luck to spare, I'd give it to him. I I wish we all had good luck all the time. I wish we had wings and could fly. I wish the rain were beer. But it ain't. And seeing as how we go walking around on 2 feet without wings, and we have good luck just about as much as bad luck, and the rain is simply water, don't you go complicating things by adding in colors. He nearly had me though. I almost fell for it.
But he's silent, Master Secretary. He makes no noise. Why not leave him silent?
Not to be a man of letters, Your Grace. Perhaps you don't realize the extent of his reputation. This silence of his is bellowing up and down Europe. Now, let me recapitulate. He informed you of the Spaniard's tour of the North Countries.
He did.
He informed me of his conversation with the ambassador. Now, we may say that by doing so, he showed himself hostile to the interests of Spain.
That's what I say.
Bear with me, Your Grace. If he opposes Spain, he supports us. Well, surely that follows. Do you propose some third alternative?
No, that's the lineup, all right. And I
Sir
may
Thomas
say,
will line up on the right side.
yes, crank he may be, traitor he is not.
Precisely. And with a little pressure, he can be got to say so. That's all we need. A brief declaration of his support for the present administration.
I still say let sleeping dogs lie.
The king does not agree with you.
What kind of pressure do you think you can bring to bear?
I have evidence that during the period of his judicature, Sir Thomas More accepted bribes.
What? Thomas More's the first judge since Cato who hasn't accepted bribes. When last was there a chancellor who, after 3 years in office, retired with nothing more to his name but £100 and a gold chain?
Richard! A practice may be common, as you imply, and yet remain an offense. And this offense could send a man to the tower.
I don't believe it.
Ah, Rich, I believe you know his grace.
Indeed, we're old friends.
Used to look after my books or something, didn't you?
This is Catherine Andrews. She filed a case in the Court of Requests in the April 1526.
A property case it was!
Quiet! A property case in the Court of Requests in the April 1526.
And I got a wicked girl
And
stupid!
brought an impeccably correct judgment from our friend Sir Thomas More.
No, sir, it was not!
We're not concerned with the judgment you received, but with the gift you gave the judge. Tell this man about that. The judgment, for what it's worth, was the right one.
No, sir! I sent him a cup, sir, an Italian silver cup. I got it in Lincoln for 100 shillings.
Did Thomas More accept this cup?
I sent it.
He accepted it. We can corroborate that. You may go. Go!
Is that your witness?
As a matter of fact, no. By an interesting series of coincidences, the cup came into the hands of Master Richard.
How?
He gave it to me.
Can you corroborate that?
I have a man outside, Moore's steward at the time. Shall I call him?
Don't bother. I know the man. When did Sir Thomas give you when did Sir Thomas give you this cup?
I don't exactly remember.
Well, make an effort. No, wait. I can tell you. It was that night. We were there together. You had a cup with you when we left. Was that it?
Might have been.
Did Thomas More often give you cups?
I don't suppose so, Your Grace.
And that was it. And when was it? It was April 26th, the exact same month that Carol put her case in. Therefore, we can conclude that the moment Thomas More knew it was a bribe, he got rid of it.
The facts will bear that interpretation, I suppose.
Oh, this is a horse that won't run, Master Secretary.
Just a trial canter, Your Grace. We'll find something better.
Now look, Cromwell, I don't want any part in this.
You have no choice.
What do you mean?
The king has personally requested that you be involved in this matter.
He didn't say anything to me about that.
Indeed. He told me.
Why?
We feel that As you are known to have been an associate of Moore's, your involvement in the case will show there is nothing in the nature of a persecution, but only the strictest processes of the law, as you've indeed just demonstrated. I'll tell the king of your loyalty to your friend. If you like, I'll tell him you want no part of it as well.
Are you threatening me, Cromwell?
No, Wilk. This isn't Spain, you know.
Mr. Secretary, I'm sincerely sorry. I forgot to was there that night.
To remember these things.
I'm sincerely sorry.
Not such a fool as he looks, that Norfolk.
That could hardly be possible.
Sir Thomas is going to be a slippery fish to catch. We'll need a net with a finer mesh. But we'll weave one, won't we, you and I?
Yes. But I'm only anxious to do what is correct.
Oh, naturally, of course. Absolutely right. It all must be done according to law. It's merely a matter of finding the right law. Or making one. Bring my papers, will you?
Excuse me, Mr. Might I have a moment of your time?
Matthew, we won't be requiring you today.
Oh no, sir, not about whatever that was. It's more about what...
Oh yes, I do begin to need a steward. My household is expanding. But as I remember correctly, your attitude towards me was at times disrespectful.
No. Oh, no. I must contradict you there. That is a figment of your imagination. At the time, you had your way to make in the world, and many people seemed disrespectful. But now, you've made your way. You don't find me disrespectful now, do you?
I don't suppose so. There may be something in that.
Yes, indeed.
Bring my papers. I'll allow no breath of insolence.
I would expect nothing less. I can handle this one. He's just my size. Thomas Morris again. He's lost everything.
My husband will be coming down shortly, Your Excellency.
Thank you, madame.
And I beg you to be gone before he does.
Madame, I have a royal commission to perform.
Aye, he says.
For sheer barbarity, commend me to a good-hearted Scottish woman of a certain class.
Yes, Your Excellency. It is very cold inside.
I remember when these rooms were warm enough.
Thus it is to incur the enmity of a king.
A heretic king! Yes, Sir Thomas is a good man.
Oh, yes, sir. I like Sir Thomas very much.
Careful, careful. Yes, he is a good man, but sometimes goodness can be a difficulty.
Your Excellency.
In the long run, all good men are allies of Spain. No good man cannot be, and no man who is not can be good.
Yes.
He is opposed to Cromwell, is he not?
Yes.
If he is opposed to Cromwell, then he is for us. There is no third alternative.
I suppose not, Your Excellency.
I wish your mother had chosen some other career for you. You've no political sense whatever. Sir Thomas.
Is this another personal visit, your boys, or is this one official?
It goes between the two.
Official, then.
I have a personal letter for you.
From whom?
From my master, the King of Spain. You will take it.
I will not touch it.
It is in no way an affair of the state. It merely expresses my master's admiration at the stand which you have taken over this so-called divorce of Queen Catherine.
I have taken no stand.
But Sir Thomas, your views are widely known.
My views are widely guessed at.
Then,
Come now, sir. Could you undertake to convince, say, King Harry that that letter is in no way an affair of state?
My dear Sir Thomas, I have taken extreme precautions. I have come here very much incognito, very nearly in disguise.
You must understand me. It is not a matter of your precautions. It is my duty, which would be to take that letter immediately to the king.
But Sir Thomas, your views.
How widely guessed at, you say? Well, it seems my loyalty is less well known.
Father, Will's getting more.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Is it dry? Yes, it is. Alice, look at this. Your Excellency, it's bracken. We burn it. May I? You see, Alice, I've been offered a letter from the King of Spain. You see, it has not been opened.
Aye.
I've declined it. The seal has not been broken.
Aye.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I wish I could ask you to stay. The bracken fire is a luxury.
One I must forego. May I say, I am sure that my master's admiration will not be diminished.
I'm gratified.
The man is utterly unreliable.
Well, Alice, it's a luxury as long as it lasts. There's not much sport in it for you, I'm afraid. Look, Alice. About the money from the bishops, I can't take it. Heavens, I wish I could, but I can't.
I didn't think you would.
Alice, there are reasons.
We couldn't come so deep into your confidence as to know these reasons why a man in poverty can't take £4,000.
Alice, this isn't poverty.
Do you know what we're going to eat tonight?
Parsnips.
Aye, parsnips and stinking mutton for a night's liding.
At the worst, we could be beggars and still keep company together. Still be married together.
Mary.
Aye, married.
I think you should take that money.
Don't you understand? If I'm paid by the church for my writings,
This has nothing to do with your writings. This was charity, pure and simple, collected from the clergy high and low.
but it would appear as payment.
You're not a man who deals in appearances.
Am I not, though? Listen, if the king takes her any further, with me or with the church, it will go very badly if I even appear to have been in the payment of the church.
Badly.
You will have it. Dangerous.
But you don't write against the king.
Well, I write. And that's enough in days like these.
You said there was no danger.
I don't think there is. And I don't want there to be. But look.
Sir, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. There's a gentleman out there from Hampton Court. He says you are to go before Secretary Cromwell to answer certain charges.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. We expected that. When?
Now,
Oh, Alice, that's just technique. Well, I suppose now means now.
Can I come with you?
Oh, no. Why? I shall be back before dinner. I'll bring Cromwell to dinner, shall I? It would serve him right.
Oh, don't be witty.
Why not, Meg? Witty is what's called for now.
while we are witty, the devil may enter us unawares.
He's a lawyer, Song River, not the devil. And my case is watertight.
But they say he's a very penetrating lawyer.
Who, Cromwell? He is a pragmatist, and that's the only resemblance he has to the devil, Son Rover. He's a pragmatist, merest plumber.
Ah, Sir Thomas. Yes. Sorry to call you here at this hour. Good of you to come. Please, sit. I believe you know Master Rich.
Indeed. We're old friends. Nice gown you have on, Richard.
Master Rich will make a record of our conversation.
Good of you to tell me, Master Cromwell.
Believe me, Sir Thomas. That may be asking too much, but let me tell you anyway. You have no more sincere admirer than my son. Not yet.
If I might hear the charges.
Charges?
I understand there are certain charges.
Certain ambiguities of behavior, which I should like to clarify, hardly charges.
Well, make a note of that, Master Rich. There are no charges.
Ah, Sir Thomas. You know, it continually amazes me how one once so effective in the world as yourself, now so very much retired from it, should so wholeheartedly oppose himself to the whole movement of the times.
Amazes me too.
The king is not pleased with you.
I'm grieved.
And yet, do you know that if you could but bring yourself to agree with you, universities, bishops, and the very parliament of this realm, there is no honor he would be likely to deny you.
I'm well acquainted with the king's generosity.
Very well. You are familiar with the so-called Holy Maid of Kent, who was executed for prophesying against the king.
I knew the poor woman.
You sympathize with her?
She was ignorant and misguided. A bit mad, I think, too. And she has paid for her folly. Actually, I sympathize with her.
You met her. You admit speaking with her, and yet you did not warn His Majesty of her treachery. How was that?
She spoke no treachery. Our conversation was not political.
My dear lord, the woman was notorious. Do you expect me to believe that?
Fortunately, there were witnesses.
You wrote her a letter.
In which I urged her to abstain from meddling in the affairs of princes in the state. I have a copy of this letter, also witnessed.
You have been very cautious.
Yes. I like to keep my affairs regular.
Sir Thomas, there is a more serious charge.
Charge!
For want of a better word. In the May of 1526, the king published a book, a theological work, entitled A Defense of the Seven Sacraments.
For which he was awarded the title Defender of the Faith by His Holiness the Pope.
The Bishop of Rome. Or do you prefer Pope?
The Bishop of Rome, if you prefer. It does not alter his authority.
Thank you, Sir Thomas. You come to the point very readily. What exactly is that authority? As regards the church in other parts of Europe, for instance, the church in England, what is the Bishop of Rome's authority?
You will find that very ably set out and defended, Mr. Secretary, in the King's book.
The book published under the King's name will be more accurate. You wrote this book.
I wrote no part of
I
it.
do not mean that you actually held the pen.
I merely answered to the best of my ability certain questions on canon law which the King put to me, as I was bound to do.
Do you deny that you instigated?
It was from first to last the King's own book. This is trivial, Master Cromwell.
I should not think so were I in your position. These charges.
Charges? These are mere terrors in the dark, an empty cupboard to frighten children, not myself.
Very true, Sir Thomas. Very, very. To frighten a man, there must be something in the cupboard, must there not?
Yes, and there is nothing in it.
For the moment, there is this. charge you with great ingratitude. I remind you of many benefits graciously bestowed and ill received. I tell you that no king of England ever had, nor could have had, so villainous a servant and so traitorous a subject. These words are not mine, Thomas, but the king's. Believe that.
I do. I recognize the style. So I'm brought here at last.
You've brought yourself where you stand now.
Still, in another sense, I was brought.
Perhaps. You may go home for the present. I don't like him so well as I did. There's a man who raises the gale when one sail out of harbour.
Do you think you can still fight with him?
He's misusing his intelligence.
What will you do now then?
Be quiet! I will do whatever's necessary. The king wants either Sir Thomas to bless his marriage or Sir Thomas to be destroyed. Either will do.
Those seem like odd alternatives.
Do they? That's because you're not a man of conscience, Rich. You see, when the king destroys a man, that's proof to the king that it must have been a bad man, the sort of man that a man of conscience ought to destroy. And of course, a bad man's blessing is not worth having. So either will do.
I see.
There's no going back, Rich. I find we've made ourselves the keepers of this conscience. It's ravenous.
Boat! Boat! Come now. It's not as bad as all that. Boat! Oh, Howard. I can't get home. They won't bring me a boat.
Can you blame them?
It's not as bad as all that, is it?
It is every bit as bad as that.
Well, then it's good of you to be seen with me.
I followed you.
Were you followed?
Probably. So listen to what I have to say. You're behaving like a crank. You're behaving like a fool. You aren't behaving like a gentleman. All right? That means nothing to you. But what about your friends?
What about them?
Blast it, you're dangerous to know.
Then don't know them.
There's something else. You must have realized by now. There's a policy with regards to you. The king is using me in it.
That's clever. That's Cromwell for you. So, you are caught between the upper and the nether millstones, then?
I am.
Howard, you must cease to know me.
I do know you. I wish I didn't, but I do.
I mean, as a friend.
You are my friend.
Howard, I can't relieve you of your oath of obedience to the king. You must relieve yourself of our friendship. The dangerous world, and you have a son.
You might as well tell a man to change the color of his hair. I'm fond of you. And there it is. You're fond of me. And there it is.
What's to be done, then? Give in. I can't. You might as well ask a man to change the color of his eyes. I can't, Howard. Our friendship is more mutable than that.
Oh, that's immutable, is it? The one fixed point in a world of shifting friendships is that Thomas More won't give in.
That is myself. Affection runs as deep in me as is in you, but only God is love right through, and that is myself.
And who are you? blast it. It's disproportional. We're supposed to be the arrogant ones, the proud, splenetic ones. We've all given in. Why must you stand out? You'll break my heart.
We'll do it now. Heart has friends, and meet as strangers.
Daft Thomas, why do you want to take your friendship from me? For friendship's sake? You say we'll meet as strangers, but every word you've said merely confirms our friendship.
That can be remedied. Norfolk, you're a fool!
You can't place a quarrel. You haven't the style.
Hear me out. You and your class have given in, as you rightly call it, because the religion of England means nothing to you, one way or the other.
Well, that's a foolish saying for a start. The nobility of England have always...
The nobility of England would have slept through the Sermon on the Mount. Yet you labor like Thomas Aquinas over these rat dogs' pedigrees. What's the name of those despicable creatures you're breeding now?
An artificial quarrel's not a quarrel.
You deceive yourself, my lord. We have had a quarrel since the day we first met. Our friendship is but sloth.
You can be cruel when you have a mind to, but I've always known that.
What's the name of those despicable animals you're breeding now? Bog beagles? Marsh wiggles?
Water spaniels!
What will you do with the water spaniel that was afraid of water? You hang it. Well, as a water spaniel is to water, so is a man to himself. I will not give in because I oppose it. Not my pride, not my spleen, not any of my other appetites, but I do. I!
Father!
Is there no single sinew in the midst of this that does not serve the appetites of Norfolk, but is just Norfolk? Give that some thought, my lord.
Father!
Thomas?
Because as you stand, you'll go before your maker in a very ill condition.
Now steady, Thomas!
You'll have to think that somewhere along your pedigree, a curve got over the wall.
Ugh.
Father, what was that?
That was Norfolk.
So Thomas, do you know? Have you heard? You told him?
We've been looking for you, Father.
There's to be a new act in Parliament, sir.
An act?
It's about the marriage, sir.
Oh.
Father, by this act, they're going to administer a new oath.
An oath? Under what compulsion?
It's expected to be treason, sir.
What is the oath?
It's about the marriage, sir.
What is the wording, though?
We don't need to know the wording, we know what it will mean.
An oath will mean what the words say. An oath is made of words. It may be possible to take it or to avoid it. Have we a copy of the bill?
There's one coming out from the city.
Let's go home and read it. Oh, no boat!
Father, he hit you.
I spoke slightingly of water spaniels. Now listen. You listen too, Will. God made angels to show him splendor, animals for their innocence and plants for their simplicity. But men made to serve him wittily in the tangle of his mind. Now, if God suffers us to fall to such a case that there is no escaping, well then we may stand to our tackle. Yes, Will, and then we may clamor like champions if we have the spittle for it. No doubt it delights God to see splendor where he looked only for complexity. But it is God's part, not our own, to bring ourselves to that extremity. Our natural business lies in escaping. So, let's go home and study that bill. Suppose anyone liked it as much as he did. Well, not much more, at least. Who am I, you ask? Well, I'm the jailer. Pay scale bill is they had to take a more common top man into the service. Bit more near the knuckle than most, but a job's a job, eh? Yeah. They'd have let him out if they could. I'd have let him out if I could. But I can't knock up taking up residence in there myself. And you know what they say. Better a live rat than a dead lion. About that, the old adage. Cromwell, well, he himself was found guilty of high treason and executed in July of 1540. Lord Norfolk, well, he also was found guilty of high treason and was scheduled to be executed in January 27th of 1547. But on January 26th, the king died and was unable to sign the warrant. Thomas Kramer, Archbishop of Canterbury, he was burned alive at a stake in 1556. And Richard Rich, well, he went on to become a knight, Solicitor General, a Baron, Chancellor, and he died in his bed. And so did I. So I hope with all of you. Oh, wake up, Sir Thomas. What? What time is it? It's about 1 o'clock, sir. Oh, this is iniquitous. Probably is. Come on your feet, Lester. Who's there? It's the Archbishop, Chancellor, and everyone else. Come on, just sit down. There. I'm flattered. I'm sure you are.
This is the 7th counsel into the case of Sir Thomas More, appointed by the King and his council. Have you anything to say?
No.
Secretary Cromwell?
Sir Thomas, do the witnesses attend?
Yes, Secretary.
You, come, nearer. Wait in here. Sir Thomas, you recognize this document?
I've seen it many times.
This is the Act of Succession. These are the names of those who have sworn to it.
I have, as you say, seen it before.
Will you swear to it?
No!
Thomas, we must know plainly.
Please!
Master Cromwell!
I beg your pardon, Your Grace.
Thomas, we must know plainly if you recognize the children of Queen Anne as heirs to King Henry.
The King in Parliament tells me that they are. Of course, I recognize them.
Would you swear to it?
Yes.
Then why won't you swear to the act?
Because there is more than that in the Act.
Is that it?
Yes.
Well then, we must find what it is in the act that he objects to.
Brilliant.
Your Grace, may I?
Certainly, I have no pretension to expertise in police work.
Sir Thomas, it states in the preamble that the king's former marriage to Lady Catherine was unlawful, she being previously his brother's wife and the Pope having no authority to sanction it. Is that what you deny? Is that what you dispute? Is that what you're not sure of?
Thomas, you insult the king and his council in the presence of the Lord Archbishop?
Insult no one. I will not swear to the act, and I will not tell you why I do not swear.
Then your reasons must be treasonable.
Not must be, may be.
It's a fair assumption.
The law requires more than an assumption.
I cannot judge your legal standing in the case, but until I know the grounds of your objectives, I can only guess at your spiritual standing too.
If you can guess at that, my lord, my objection should be a simple matter.
Then you do have objections to the Act.
Oh, well, we already knew that, Cromwell.
No, you don't. All you know is that I will not swear to it. From sheer delight to give you trouble, it might be.
Is it material why you won't swear?
It's most material. For refusing to swear, my property is forfeit and I am condemned to life imprisonment. You cannot lawfully harm me further. But you're right in supposing that I have reasons, and right in supposing those reasons to be treasonable. The law would let you cut my head off.
Oh. Yes.
Well done, Sir Thomas. I've been trying to make that clear to His Grace for some time.
Oh, confound it all! I'm no legal expert, as Cromwell never tires of reminding me. And frankly, I don't know if the marriage was lawful or not. But, Thomas, look at these names. You know these men. Can't you come with us? For fellowship?
And when you are called to paradise for doing according to your conscience, and I am condemned for doing according to mine, will you come with me then? For fellowship?
So those of us whose names are there are condemned, Sir Thomas.
I don't know. I have no window to look into another man's soul. I condemn no one.
Then the matter is capable of question.
Certainly.
But that you owe obedience to your king is not capable of question. So weigh a doubt against a certainty, and sign.
Some men believe that the earth is round. Others believe that it is flat. It is a matter capable of question. But if the earth is flat, will the king's command make it round? And if the earth is round, will the king's command flatten it? No, I will not sign.
Then you have more regard to your own doubt than to His command.
Myself, I have no doubt.
No doubt of what?
No doubt of my grounds for refusing to swear. Grounds which I will tell to the king only, and which you, Master Secretary, will not trick out of me.
Thomas.
Gentlemen, may I please go to bed?
You don't seem to appreciate the seriousness of your position.
I defy anyone to live in that for a year not to appreciate the seriousness of his position.
And yet the state has harsher punishment.
He's threatened like a dockside bully.
Then how should I threaten?
Like a minister of state with justice.
Oh, it's justice with which you are threatened, Sir Thomas.
Well, then I'm not threatened.
Gentlemen, I believe the prisoner may retire as he requests, unless you have anything further, Lord Archbishop.
No, I see no purpose in prolonging the interview.
Then good night, Sir Thomas.
I have a few more books.
You have books?
Yes.
I didn't know. You shouldn't have.
May I see my family?
No! Jailer. Yeah. What? In here. Well, Jailer, have you ever heard the prisoner speak on the King's supremacy of the church or the King's marriage?
No.
If you do, you will report it to the lieutenant at once.
Sure.
You will swear an oath to that effect. Archbishop?
Fine, whatever you say.
Place your left hand here. Raise your right. Now say after me. I swear by my
I swear by what I'm
that I will truly
I will
report
truly
everything said
report
by
anything
the
said
Thomas
by Sir
More,
Thomas More,
against the
against the
king,
King,
council,
and the realm, so help me God, amen.
And there's 50 guineas to do for you.
That's not to tempt you to perjury, my man.
50 guineas isn't tempting. It's alarming. If it's worth 50 guineas now, it's worth my head presently.
I'm done with this. I want nothing more to do. They can sort this out between them. I'm beginning to feel my deafness coming on.
Master Rich?
Yes?
In the morning you will remove the prisoner's books.
Is that really necessary, Cromwell?
No book? With regards to this case, the king is currently impatient.
Yes. With you.
With all of us. You know the king's impatience, how commodious it is.
Mr. Secretary, She's posted vacant, Attorney General for Wales. He said I might approach you.
Not now. He's got to say. He's no better. As long as Sir Thomas More's alive, the king's conscience breaks into fresh, stinking flowers every time he gets from bed. But if I bring about his death, I plan my own thing. He's got to be made to submit. No, the king won't allow it. We've got to find some gentler way.
Right, wake up, Sir Thomas. Your family's here to see ya.
What? Meg! Meg, you can visit me?
Yes, you can.
Jailer, let me out of this.
Oh, well, just give me a second.
Oh, wait, Meg, they've not put you in here too.
No, he's just here to visit.
Jailer, let me out.
Yes, I am. Get on.
Father!
Oh,
Good morning, Father!
good morning. Good morning, Alice. Good morning, Will.
Husband, how are you?
Well enough, Alice. Very happy now that you're here.
This is an awful place.
Except it's keeping me from you. It's not that bad. Very much like any other place.
Drinks.
Yes, too near the river.
Oh, Father, we brought you some things.
Oh, have you?
Yes, and some cheese and a custard
Custard.
and these other things.
And a bottle of wine, sir.
Ah. Is it good, son Rover?
I don't know, sir.
Well,
So come out. Take the act. Swear the oath and come out with us.
Is this why they let you in here?
Yes. Make the road to persuade you, sir.
That was silly of me. How did you come to do that?
I wanted to.
You want me? Swear to the act of succession?
God more regards the thoughts of the heart than the words of the mouth. So you've always told me.
Yes.
And say the words of the oath and in your heart think otherwise.
What is an oath, May? The words that we say to God.
It's very neat.
You mean it's not true?
No, it's true.
It's a poor argument to call it neat, May. Listen. When a man takes an oath, he's holding his own self in his own hands, like water. And if he opens his fingers, he needn't hope to find himself again. Some men aren't capable of this, but I was sorry to hear it said that your father was one of them.
So should I.
Then
There's something else I've been thinking. In a state half good, you would be raised up high. Not here for what you've already done.
yes,
It's not your fault the state's 3/4 bad.
no,
If you elect to suffer for it, you elect yourself a hero.
that's neat. But look, if we lived in a world where virtue was profitable, then common sense would make us good and greed would make us heroes. And we would live like animals or angels in that happy world that needs no hero. Since in fact we see that anger, avarice, envy, pride, lust, and conceit commonly profit far beyond humility, chastity, fortitude, justice, and thought. We must choose to be human at all. Then perhaps we must stand firm a little. even at the risk of being heroes.
But in reason! Haven't you done as much as God can reasonably want?
Hey, it's not a matter of reason. It's a matter of love.
You're content then. You're content to be shut up here with mice and rats when you might be home with us.
Content? My Alice, if they opened up and cracked that wide, I would be through it like a bird.
Well, has Eve run out of apples?
I've not yet told you what the house is like without you.
Don't.
What we do in the evenings. That you're not there.
They, God.
We sit in the dark because we've no candles. We've no talk because we're wondering what they're doing to you here.
Meg, the king is more merciful than you. He doesn't use the rat.
All right, Sir Thomas. 2 minutes. What you up to now?
2 minutes?
Yeah, till 7 o'clock. 2 minutes.
Will. Go distract him. Talk to him. You understand?
Yes. How?
Give me up money.
Yes.
Don't bribe him. Make him play for it. He has a pair of dice. Oh, yes. Take this. Mind you share it, Will. Do it proper.
Right.
Now listen. Stoll, leave the country. You must leave the country.
Leave you here?
It won't matter, Meg. They won't let me see you again. You must go on the same day, but not on the same boat. Different boats from different ports.
After the trial, then.
There's to be no trial. You have no case. Do this for me. I beseech you.
Yes.
Alice? Alice! I command it!
Right.
This is lovely. Why don't you pack this?
I packed it.
Yes. Still make a superlative custard.
Do I?
It's a nice dress you have on, Alice.
It's my cooking dress.
It's very nice, all the same. Nice color.
By my faith, you must think very little of me. I know I'm a fool, but I'm no such fool as at a time like this to be lamenting for my dresses or to relish complimenting me on the custard.
I'm well relieved. Alice.
No.
I'm sick to think the worst that they made you do. But worse than that will be to go if you will not understand why.
I don't.
Alice, help me and you can understand. I think I can make a good death if I have to.
Your death is no good to me.
Alice, you must tell me that you understand.
Well, I don't. I don't believe it had to happen.
Alice, if you say that, I don't see how I am to face it.
Well, it's the truth.
You are an honest woman.
What good may it do me? I'll tell you what I'm afraid of. That when you're gone, I shall hate you for it.
Alice, you mustn't.
Well, as for understanding, I understand this. That you're the best man I ever met, and am ever likely to. And if you go, well, heaven knows why, I suppose, although, as heaven's my witness, heaven's kept deadly quiet about it. And if anybody wants my opinion on the king and his counselors, they only have to ask for it.
Why, it's a lion I married. A lion, yes. And I say this custard is good. Say what you will, it's very good.
It's no good.
Oh, I know what you're up to. Here we go. Another minute, man. Time's up. For pity's sake. Stop that now. All right. Ladies, here we go.
You said 7 o'clock, sir.
It's 7 o'clock now.
But 1 more minute.
Oh, take a little while. Give us a little while.
Ah! Son of Beelzebub! Oh, come on. You're not helping yet, are
You do as you're told. Be off.
Ah! You! Obstructing me! Mine! Get out! Come on,
No, you take your money hands off me.
Statesman, we're saying goodbye.
You don't know what you're asking, Sir Thomas. You don't know how you're watched. I'm sorry. Come on.
No, you filthy, stinking, gutter-bred
Tell me what
turkey!
you like.
I'll see you suffer for this!
You're doing your husband no good! Now get out!
Alice! Goodbye, my love!
Come on. I'm sorry, Sir Thomas. I'm just a simple man doing my job.
Oh, dear Lord! He's plain, simple man.
What Englishman can behold without awe the canvas and rigging of the law? Forbidden here the galley master's whip, hearts of oak in the law's great ship. Where are you going?
Oh, I'm done here.
You're the foreman of the jury.
No, I'm not.
John Dauncey, General Dealing, foreman of the jury. Does the hat fit? Yes. Then now we'll apply the sailor's art and fix these quicksands on the law's plain chart.
Prisoner at the bar, you are called here today at the Hall of Westminster on charges of high treason. Nevertheless, and though you have heinously offended the King's Majesty, it is our hope that you may yet forethink and repent of your obstinate opinions and yet taste the King's mercy.
I thank you, my lords. Howbeit, I make my petition, God Almighty, that you will keep me in this, my honest state of mind, until the last hour of my life. As for the charges, I fear that in my present weakness, neither my wit nor my memory will serve to make sufficient answer. I should be glad to be seated.
Be seated. Secretary Cromwell, have you the charge?
I have, Your Grace.
Then read the charge.
That you did maliciously and traitorously conspire to deprive our sovereign Lord Henry of his true and certain title, Supreme Head of the Church of England.
But I've never denied this title.
You refused the oath tendered to you at the Tower and elsewhere.
Silence is not denial. And for my silence, I have been imprisoned already. Why am I called here again?
On a charge of high treason, Sir Thomas.
For which the punishment is not imprisonment.
Death comes for us all, my lords. Yes, even for kings, to whom amidst all their splendor and brute strength he will not kneel, nor suffer them to come forth gently. But he will grasp them roughly by the breast and shake them until they be stark dead, sending their bodies to the pit
and themselves in judgment, whereof at their death their success is not certain.
Treason enough here.
The death of kings is not in question.
Nor my own, I hope, until I'm proven guilty.
Your life is in your own hands, Sir Thomas, as it always has been.
Dare we, for shame, my lord, to desire to enter the kingdom gently, when our Lord himself entered with so much pain?
Now, Sir Thomas, you stand upon your silence.
I do.
And yet, my lords, gentlemen of the jury, let us consider that there are many types of silence. For instance, there is the silence of a man when he is dead. Let us say we go into the room where he is lying. And let us say it is in the dead of night, when nothing sharpens the ear like silence. What would we hear? Nothing. This would be pure silence, plain and simple. It would betoken nothing. Let us consider an alternative case. Suppose I were to draw a dagger and make it to kill the prisoner with it, and suppose that their lordships, rather than crying out for me to stop or for help to stop me, were silent. That would betoken. It would betoken a willingness that I should do it. And under the law, they should be guilty with me. Now let us consider the case of the prisoner's silence. This oath has been tendered to good and faithful subjects up and down these shores. All acknowledge the king's title as good and rightful. And yet, when it was offered to the prisoner, he was silent. And yet, is there a man in this court, in this entire country, who does not know the prisoner's opinion on the king's title? How can that be? I tell you, it was because his answer betokened. It was not silence at all. It was most eloquent denial.
Not so, Master Secretary. Not so. The maxim of the law is, qui tacit consentire. The maxim of the law is, silence gives consent. If therefore you wish to construe what my silence betokens, you must construe that I consented, not that I denied.
Is that what we must construe, Thomas? Is that what you pretend you wish the world would construe?
The world may construe according to its desires, but this court must construe according to the law.
I put it to the court that the prisoner is trying to make smoking what should be a clear light to illuminate his own wrongdoing.
The law is not a light for you or for any man to see by. The law is not an instrument of any kind. The law is a causeway upon which, if he keeps to it, a citizen may walk safely in matters of conscience.
The conscience, the conscience.
The word is not familiar to you.
By God, Troupe! I am very used to hearing it in the mouths of criminals.
And I am used to hearing bad men misuse the name of God. That God exists. Matters of conscience. A loyal man is bound to be loyal to his conscience above any other thing.
Thus providing no motive for his own self-conceit.
Not so, Master Secretary. Very and pure necessity for my soul.
My soul. Myself, you mean?
My soul is myself.
Then a pathetic and simple thing it must be. Like a bat in a Sunday school. A shrill, incessant pedagogue about his own salvation. But never a thought to his place in the state, under the king, in a great native country.
Is it my part to say yes to the state's sickness? Will I help my king by giving him lies when he asks for truth? Will you help England by populating her with liars?
My lord, I would like to call Sir Richard Rich.
I do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall provide before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So help me God, sir.
So help me God.
Now, Rich, on the 12th of March you were at the Tower.
I was.
For what purpose?
I was carrying away the prisoner's books.
Did you speak with the prisoner?
I did.
Did you speak on the King's supremacy of the church?
I did.
What did you say?
I said, supposing that there be an act of parliament to say that I, Richard Rich, would be king of England, would not you, Master Moore, take me as your king?
Yes?
And then he said,
The prisoner?
yes, your grace. Then he said, but I would put to you a higher case. How if Parliament had passed an act to say that God should not be God?
Yes, this is true. And then
Silence. Continue.
I said, but I would put to you a middle case. Parliament has made our king head of the church. Why will you not accept him?
Well?
Then he said, Parliament has not the power to do it.
Repeat the prisoner's words.
He said, Parliament has not the competence, or words to that effect.
He denied the title.
He did.
In truth, Richard, I'm sorrier for your perjury than for my own peril.
Do you deny this?
Yes! If I were a man who heeded not the taking of an oath, you know well I need not be here. Now I will take an oath. What this man has said is true, and I pray that I may never see God in the face, which I would not say were it otherwise for anything else on earth.
That is not evidence.
Is it not clear? Is it not clear that after so long a silence on this, the very point sought after me, that I would never reveal myself to such a man as that?
Sir Richard, would you like to modify your testimony?
No, Mr. Secretary.
There were two other men, Southwell and Palmer.
Unhappily, Sir Richard Southwell and Master Palmer are in Ireland in the King's business. It has no bearing. I have their depositions here, stating that as they were busy carrying away prisoners' books, they did not overhear the conversation.
Is it not evident that if what he had said was true, these two men would have instantly been called to witness?
Sir Rich, have you anything to add?
No.
Sir Thomas?
To what purpose? I'm a dead man. You have had what you have desired of me. You have not hunted me for my actions, but for the desires of my heart. It is a long road you have voted. For first, men will disclaim their hearts, and presently they will have no hearts. I pray to God for the people whose statesmen walk your road.
The witness may retire.
I have a question for the witness. That is the chain of office you are wearing. May I see it? The Red Dragon. What is this?
Sir Richard is appointed Attorney General for Wales.
Richard. Profit a man nothing to give his soul for the whole world. For Wales.
Now I must beg the court's indulgence. I have a message for the prisoner from the king. Sir Thomas, I am empowered to tell you that even now...
No. It cannot be.
So be it. Your Grace?
The jury shall retire and consider the evidence.
Considering the evidence, I don't think it will be necessary for the jury to retire, will it?
No, my lord.
Then, is the prisoner guilty or not guilty?
We, the jury, find the prisoner guilty, my lord.
Prisoner at the bar, you have been found guilty of high treason. It is the sentence of this court...
Wait! My lord, when I was practicing the law, it was the custom to ask the prisoner before pronouncing the sentence if he had anything to say.
Well, have you anything to say?
Yes. Avoid this. I have taken every path which my winding wits could find. But now that this court has determined to hold me guilty, God knoweth how I will discharge my mind concerning the king's title and the indictment. This law is grounded in an act of parliament which is directly repugnant
to the law of God. The king cannot bestow the supremacy of the church because it is a spiritual supremacy. And more than that, the immunity of the church was guaranteed in the Magna Carta and in the king's own coronation oath.
Now we plainly see that you are malicious.
Not so, Master Secretary. I am the king's true subject, and I pray for him and for all the realm. I do none harm, I speak none harm, and I think none harm. In good faith, if that be not enough to keep a man alive, I long not to live. I have, since I have been in prison, been several times in such a case where I thought to die within the hour. And I thank God that I was never sorry for it, but sorry, or rather, when it was gone. And now, therefore, my poor body is at the king's disposal. I pray God my death might do him some good.
Prisoner at the bar, you have been found guilty of high treason. It is the sentence of this court that you shall be taken from this court to the tower, thence to the place of execution, and there your head stricken from your body. And may God have mercy on your soul. I can come no further, Thomas. Here, drink this.
My master had gall, not wine, given to him to drink. Let me be going. Friend, not afraid to perform your office. You sent me to God.
You're very sure of that, Sir Thomas.
You will not refuse one
was so blithe to go to him.
Behold, the head of a traitor!
I'm grieving. Are you? It's a good thing. It's not difficult to stay alive, my friends. Just have to make sure that you don't make trouble. But if you do have to make trouble, just make sure it's the type that everyone's expecting. But I don't have to tell all you that. Good night, my friends. And remember, if we should ever happen to recognize